Welcome to LeanLaw. When you first log into LeanLaw, you will see our calendar page, our time entries page, expenses, billing, clients and matters, and reporting. Today we're going to give a brief overview of LeanLaw, and we're going to start by talking about our time entries because that'll be the basis for any of the downstream information that we'll see. So LeanLaw offers several different ways of doing time entries. We have a calendar view where you can drag and drop and then enter time from there. You can select your client matter and then type in a description. And then you save and you have a new time entry there. You can also run timers. I've just started a new timer here, and you can go in and select your client and matter when you're ready to enter that. And then go ahead and write the description. And then when you're ready, you can pause the timer and save. And that will launch this. So you can enter time through the calendar or through the timers view. That's going to be kind of as you go through your workflow. And then if you're wanting to enter time in bulk, you can go ahead and do the same thing through our time entries page where, again, you would enter the client, enter the matter, your description, and then you just put in the time. If it's something that needs to be non-billable or you want to log it against a fixed fee, you can do that as well. And then you just create that time entry, and then you can continue to create additional time entries from there. On top of that, we have our mobile and desktop applications also, a mobile for both Android and Apple. And you can enter time through those as well. We're not going to show that here today. So all of that forms the basis of then how you do your billing. So we're going to take a look at how you can bill with LeanLaw. So LeanLaw offers a smart workflow to help you move through the steps of the billing process easily. And we do that starting with our Ready to Bill page. So the Ready to Bill page will bring up the all of the clients and matters where you have time entries or fixed fees or expenses logged against those, but have not been yet put into a draft of a bill. And so you can see here that I'm looking at all of the options for me to bill a particular client or matter. I can go ahead and I can use bulk workflows to do multiple clients and create multiple invoices at once with our create draft invoices. Or I can select an individual invoice and I can go ahead and with one click, I've created a draft for that. So that's our Ready to Bill page, and we've got smart filtering available for you if that's something that you're interested in. Then, once you've created this draft invoice, and you can see I've got several options here, you can easily go in and edit the information on a draft. So you can customize what goes into the memo by, let's say, we're just going to include the trust balance, or let's just say I want to include matter totals there. If I wanted to add text, I could text, and I can apply that. I can also go in, I can edit individual time entries. Let's say somebody had a typo, or I wanted to make the information more specific. I can go in and edit that. I can write down information. So if I didn't want to bill the full amount, I could say, let's actually write that down and only charge 0.7 for that. I can also make anything non-billable. I can write it down to 0. I can save it for later. Or if I notice something is in the wrong matter, I can change that as well. If I also know something is missing, I can go ahead and add a new time entry from there as well. And then I can see the summary of the services, who we're billing it to, any of the expenses, any of the fees. And once I've made all of the changes that I need to make to this invoice, then I can go ahead and, if you have it configured for an approval stage, can go ahead and approve this invoice. It's not required to have an approved stage, but if you want to have a second set of eyes on an invoice to review, you can do that. Here it'll pop open the draft editor again, but here you can't actually edit. So let's say you had an attorney who's going in and making the drafts, and they want to communicate that, yes, this invoice is ready to go, but they're not actually the person who is sending out the draft. Then they want to indicate that it's ready to go to, say, your billing coordinator who's going to actually send out the invoices. That might be where you'd use the approval workflow. So in this stage, you can go in and kind of confirm the information. And then once the invoice is ready to go, you hit approve and submit. And what that will do is that will send your invoice to QuickBooks. And we will see then in our manage invoices section, which is, these are all of our sent invoices. I've got this invoice that I've just sent, and you can load the PDF, and based on your template setup, you will get back a PDF view of what the invoice was and the current state of that. So you can see I've got a variety of different expenses and some charges that exist on this one. From this page, you can go ahead, you can do a variety of different things. You can open it directly in QuickBooks. You can see the original draft. You can print it. You can email. You can record a payment. You can pay it from trust. And you can also get an invoice summary. So lots of different options of the billing workflow that you can use here. Once you've done that, then you can also, for anything that you've emailed, you can track the status of an invoice. You can see that this invoice was sent on the 21st and that it has been opened. And so you can see if you've got kind of multiple emails that have happened, you can also see the status of multiple emails. So if you've sent reminder emails, which you can also do either in bulk or individually. If you wanted to send a reminder, then you can go ahead and send that reminder based on the template you have set up. And then you've got, you can start tracking that. You can see it's sending as we go. So this allows you to see the state of the communication that you've had with your clients. And then one additional thing to touch on, there's some additional pieces of the workflow here, some reporting, some information about payments. But you also, if you needed to, say, replenish a trust or set up a new trust, earlier I showed you how you might pay something from trust, but you can easily go in and either deposit funds or request new funds for a particular client. Let's see, Redfish. You can go in and request additional funds, and you can tailor the message that goes, and then that will send an email with a payment link to that associated client that you just sent that to. So that is a very brief overview of our billing functionality. And the last thing that you're going to want to do, so we've talked about kind of time is that foundational building block, and then billing and going through this workflow of preparing and sending those invoices out to your clients, and then getting paid for those invoices. And then the last thing you need to do when you think about running your law firm is understanding where things are. So being able to see the value of all of your work in progress, being able to understand your aging AR, being able to see how productive your team is. And LeanLaw has a whole reporting section that's designed to give you that flexibility. So we've got our standard WIP build collected report. This is very useful in getting you a snapshot of the work that's in progress, anything that's in a draft state, anything that has been billed, and then anything that has been collected. And you can see that by user. We also have this report configured a couple of different ways, but this is very powerful to give you a sense of what you're expecting to bill for soon, what you have billed for, and what you've actually earned. And you'll see that WIP billed collector report, you can see it by our concept of responsible, by client and matter, by practice area. So lots of flexibility in terms of how you can look at that. In addition, you may want to get a sense of how productive your team is. And so here you can see the billable hours, the non-billable hours, the total hours, and the value of that time that's happening. So if you really want to drill into the productivity, or if you want to think about it, your utilization rate, this productivity reporting is going to be very helpful for you. And then lastly, and this one we actually integrate in our billing workflow because it's so related to billing, is being able to get a view of your receivables and the aging on that. So you can see for each matter, what is the current account balance, what is current, what has been billed in the last 1 to 30 days, last 31 to 60 days, last 61 to 90 days, and greater than 90 days. So you can get a sense of how effective your collections are and which clients and matters are outstanding in what amount of time. So that is an overview of LeanLaw, and we look forward to talking to you more about it. So please contact us to learn more.